Have you ever stepped out of a subway station in the heart of a foreign city? In that moment, as hurried crowds rush past, as the city's sounds engulf you, you suddenly realize you are alone, unsure of where to go or which way to turn. That feeling of disorientation, of being lost, is perhaps not so different from the experience of being lost in the maze of life itself. The labyrinth, it is more than just the structure that imprisoned the Minotaur in mythology. It is also a symbol for the complexities of human destiny, the unforeseen crossroads, and the profound mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Our lives, like an unceasing journey, are also a maze filled with both challenges and opportunities. The story of Theseus is not simply about escaping a labyrinth. It is an ode to unwavering bravery, to the courage to confront the abyss within, and to the persistent journey of seeking a guiding thread through the maze of life's paths. Today, let us step into the maze of human existence together, to unlock the Theseus-like fortitude hidden deep within each of us, and together cultivate the thread of hope, guiding us through the myriad crossroads ahead. Imagine you are holding a map in your hand, but this is not a familiar paper map with clear lines and simple symbols. This is the information map of the 21st century. Picture it as an invisible giant spider web constantly being woven from billions of tiny data threads. Each thread is a tweet, a Facebook post, a news snippet, a flashing advertisement, a short video on TikTok, a work email, an app notification. This spider web is constantly expanding, transforming every second, every minute. Information pathways continuously appear, unexpected turns emerge, alluring destinations blink and beckon. They overlap, intertwine, creating a boundless and sometimes extremely chaotic matrix. At times, you might even be unsure if you are actually holding the map, or if you yourself have become lost within that spider web, becoming a tiny element amidst countless meaningless data points. Within this colossal information map, we not only face the boundlessness of quantity, but also grapple with countless types of information noise. First and foremost, there is fake news, information deliberately distorting the truth, cleverly disguised under the guise of authentic news. You may still remember the case of lead poisoning in children in Ha Tin that shocked public opinion some years ago, when unverified information spread on social media, causing increased public anxiety, making it difficult to handle and stabilize the situation. Fake news spreads rapidly like a virus, sowing confusion and dividing communities, causing us to lose faith in even legitimate sources of information. Next, there is misinformation, sometimes unintentional due to editorial errors, sometimes intentionally distorting the truth for personal gain, making the overall picture distorted and difficult to discern. Then there are advertisements creeping into every corner of the map, from flashing banners on websites to sponsored posts interspersed within your friends' news feeds, urging us to consume, shop, and chase after fleeting material values. Not to mention distracting information, pointless entertainment content, meaningless soap operas, sensational clickbait notifications. They steal our focus, time, and precious energy, causing us to lose our way from truly important goals. And in this era of rapidly developing technology, information noise takes on even more sophisticated forms. Deepfakes creating deceptively realistic fake videos, bots and trolls spreading misinformation and causing division, personalized algorithms creating filter bubbles that imprison us within our own narrow worldviews. Amidst this torrent of information, we can easily feel overwhelmed, disoriented, as if lost in a maze with no exit. Have you ever opened a news site with the intention of finding specific information, only to get lost in countless articles, videos, advertisements, and forget your original purpose? Have you ever scrolled through social media just for entertainment, but after hours feel empty, tired, and disappointed as if you just stepped out of an illusionary maze? Have you ever believed a hot piece of information online, shared it with friends, and then discovered it was fake news, feeling ashamed and lost in the chaotic information matrix? These experiences have perhaps become all too familiar in today's booming information world. And these are the warning signs that we are gradually getting lost in this invisible information maze. To avoid being devoured by the minotaur of information noise, to find the right path in this boundless spider web, we need the guiding thread of Theseus, sharp critical thinking, and an effective personal information filter. So who or what is truly pulling the strings of digital minotaur in the information maze of the digital age? The answer is not simply a mindless algorithm. Behind those cold lines of code lies a complex ecosystem of motivations, from economic and political to social, and sometimes even the unconscious goals of the system itself. Algorithms, after all, are just tools, but the power and danger of digital minotaur lie in the invisible hands that are controlling and exploiting them. Giant technology corporations use algorithms to maximize profits, not only through advertising but also through holding and exploiting user data, the digital gold of the information age. Algorithms are designed to increase user dependence on platforms, turning us into reluctant permanent residents within their digital mazes. In some toxic political environments, algorithms become tools for controlling information and shaping public opinion, manipulating elections, suppressing dissenting voices, and even causing social instability. Even in democracies, algorithms can unintentionally or intentionally divide communities, amplify disagreements, and erode trust in institutions and mainstream media. More worryingly, the development of generative artificial intelligence, generative AI, is ushering in a new era of information noise, where deepfakes become so sophisticated that it is difficult to distinguish between real and fake. Bots and trolls are equipped with more human-like abilities, and disinformation campaigns are automated and spread at lightning speed. Digital Minotaur is becoming increasingly multifaceted, unpredictable, and dangerous than ever before. Digital Minotaur not only sets cognitive traps for individuals, but also causes far-reaching consequences for society and ethics. Filter bubbles and echo chambers not only cause each individual to get lost in a limited worldview, but also polarize society, creating deep divides between groups of people with different beliefs and values. The absence of a common dialogue space, where people can debate with critical thinking and build consensus, is threatening the foundation of a democratic society. As cognitive biases become widespread, the critical thinking and reasoning abilities of the entire community decline, creating conditions for fake news, conspiracy theories, and toxic information to spread, eroding the culture of debate and critical discourse, which is the foundation of social progress. Ethically, Digital Minotaur is challenging fundamental human values. Algorithms tend to prioritize content that evokes strong emotions, especially negative ones, causing outrage and division because they are capable of keeping users hooked longer. This can lead to an increase in hate speech, online violence, and a decline in compassion and empathy in society. A major ethical question arises. Do those who create and operate Digital Minotaur have a responsibility to prevent these cognitive biases? How can algorithms be designed in a more humane way, aimed at expanding awareness, promoting dialogue, and building a healthy information society, instead of just maximizing profit and control? However, a maze does not mean there is no way out. Digital Minotaur, no matter how powerful, cannot completely subdue the spirit of critical thinking and humanity's desire to seek truth. To avoid becoming victims of Digital Minotaur, to decode the virtual matrix and rediscover objective truth, we not only need the thread of critical thinking and personal information filters, but we also need to take action, spread awareness about cognitive biases, and demand transparency and accountability from algorithm developers and technology platforms. The journey to escape the information maze is not just a personal journey, but also a common battle for the whole of society to protect the value of truth, freedom of thought, and the foundation of a critical and humane society. With joint efforts, we can absolutely find a way out of the maze and build a brighter and healthier information future. If in the legend Theseus actively sought and used Ariadne's thread to escape the labyrinth of Knossos, then in the modern information world, each of us also needs to proactively create our own guiding thread. That thread is none other than sharp critical thinking and an effective personal information filter. It's not just about critical thinking in general, but about actively building a filter that bears a personal imprint, tailored to each individual's goals, values, and life context. This filter is not a rigid tool, but a continuous process of learning, adjusting, and refining, helping us to proactively select, evaluate, and receive information wisely, instead of passively being led astray by Digital Minotaur. To construct a personal filter, we need to equip ourselves with specific critical thinking tools, transforming critical thinking from an abstract concept into practical everyday skills. First and foremost is the 5W1H tool. Who created this information? Who is the source of this information? Are they reputable and trustworthy? What is the actual information being conveyed? Is this information complete, accurate, and objective? When was this information published? Is the information still akatewa el yeri and oste yeri relevant? Does the time context affect the meaning of the information? Where does this information appear? Is the origin and transmission channel of information trustworthy? Why was this information created and spread? What is the purpose of the information creator? Are there any hidden motives? How is this information presented? Is the presentation objective and neutral? Are there any emotional elements or biases embedded? Continuously asking the 5W1H questions helps us to dissect information from multiple angles, uncover layers of camouflage, and identify potential traps. The second indispensable tool is to examine information sources with critical thinking. Do not rush to believe any information just because it is hot, viral, or shared by many people. Take time to scrutinize the origin of information. Is this source mainstream or non-mainstream? Is it reputable in this field? What is the purpose of the source? Is it providing objective information or serving a private interest? Is the information supported by verifiable evidence? Our source is clearly cited. Compare this source with other sources to assess its reliability and objectivity. If the source is vague, lacks credibility, or shows signs of bias, be vigilant and verify information from multiple sources. The third tool is to seek multidimensional information and compare and contrast. Don't just eat one dish, eat many dishes to get a comprehensive view. When approaching an issue, actively seek information from various sources, from mainstream channels to independent sources, from experts to people with real-life experiences. Compare information from different sources, contrast different perspectives, identify commonalities and differences to gain the most comprehensive and objective picture. Do not be afraid to swim upstream. Seek out dissenting opinions and critical viewpoints to challenge your own beliefs and broaden your horizons of understanding. Finally, and perhaps the greatest challenge, is to recognize and overcome your own biases. Each of us carries invisible cognitive biases formed from experience, culture, and personal beliefs. Confirmation bias makes us only want to believe in things that reinforce our existing views. Availability bias makes us overestimate easily accessible information, often information that is striking or repeated many times. Optimism bias makes us believe in positive information that aligns with our own desires and ignore risk warnings. To overcome these biases, we need to be honest with ourselves, accepting that our own perception may be limited and flawed. Proactively seek out different perspectives, listen to dissenting opinions, and be willing to change our viewpoints when there is more convincing evidence. Practicing self-reflection, questioning ourselves about potential biases, and always maintaining a spirit of scientific skepticism are key to making the personal filter work effectively. And just like Theseus with Ariadne's thread, the personal critical thinking filter is the guiding thread that helps us to walk steadily in the information maze without getting lost, without fear, and always heading towards the light of truth and knowledge. The nameless city when crowds obscure connections. The city, a place where millions of lives converge, is inherently seen as a symbol of prosperity and vibrant rhythm. But amidst the bustling crowds on a main city street, the incessant honking echoing from congested avenues and the dazzling neon lights from billboards, have you ever suddenly felt invisible, lost, like a stray right in the city you live in, as if lost in a major metropolis without finding a familiar face? Skyscrapers proudly reach for the sky, vast boulevards stretch endlessly, seemingly not bringing a sense of belonging but only deepening the feeling of alienation and loneliness. In that nameless city, people become small and lonely amidst the immense sea of people in downtown areas, tangible yet invisible in crowded cafes, close yet distant even to those living in the same neighborhood. Urban loneliness, a silent virus spreading in modern society, originates from countless factors. The hectic pace of life in a dynamic city pushes people into a work vortex, with burning deadlines and material goals to achieve, eroding time and energy that should be spent on meaningful relationships. Fierce competition permeates every nook and cranny of the city, from applying for a part-time job at a local cafe to the race for promotion in large corporations, creating an invisible pressure that makes people withdrawn and wary of each other. Real public spaces are increasingly shrinking, most noticeably children's playgrounds gradually disappearing, giving way to glitzy shopping centers or gated communities, lacking natural meeting points like public parks or community squares, where people can meet, share, and interact freely and comfortably. Excessive dependence on virtual connections on social networks, while bringing a temporary feeling of closeness through likes and comments, weakens the ability to communicate face-to-face and understand true emotions. In the nameless city, we may have thousands of friends on social networks like Facebook or Instagram, but lack true confidence to share joys and sorrows, lacking genuine and deep human connections in real life. The nameless city gradually transforms into a spiritual maze, no less dangerous than the digital information maze. In the urban maze, people lose their sense of belonging, get lost in the hurried flow of life, and gradually sink into isolation amidst the crowd. Roads that seem wide open turn out to be tangled, emotional dead ends. Magnificent buildings become invisible walls separating people's hearts. The digital minotaur in the information maze sets traps for perception, then the nameless city sets traps for emotions and spirit, making people tired, lost, and losing the meaning of life amidst urban prosperity. To escape this urban maze, we need to find our own Ariadne's thread, which is not only sharp critical thinking but also the ability to connect sincerely with people, build meaningful communities, and rediscover the meaning of life right in the nameless city we live in. The office minotaur, endless cycle and heavy expectations. If the nameless city sets the trap of loneliness amidst the crowd, then the office, the heart of the modern city, where millions of people flock to office buildings in downtown areas or industrial parks every day, sets the trap of pressure and endless expectations. Stepping into the office, each person is like a minotaur imprisoned in the endless cycle of work, day and night diligently pursuing invisible goals such as sales targets, KPIs, or new projects, carrying on their shoulders the heavy expectations of society for success and stability. The office minotaur is not just the pressure of career success, but also the endless cycle of work and consumption. We are caught in the vortex of making money to pay rent in expensive urban apartments, buying trendy consumer items, chasing consumer trends that are heavily advertised, and never feeling enough, never having a moment to stop and ask ourselves what we really want, other than having to hustle enough money each month to maintain a certain standard of urban living. Every day, the office minotaur faces the furnace of deadlines for reports, quarterly KPIs, endless meetings from morning to night, work emails and messages bombarding phones and computers continuously, being crushed by the huge workload and radiation from endless computer screens for 8 hours a day or even more. The cycle of work not only drains physical strength through late nights working overtime, hasty meals at the desk, but also gnaws at the time that should be spent with family, friends, leisurely afternoons in the park, personal hobbies like reading or playing sports, and even the necessary moments of silence to regenerate spiritual energy after a stressful work week. For example, many young office workers in modern cities often fall into work-life imbalance, where time spent on work takes up almost all of their daily time, leaving them without enough strength and spirit to take care of themselves and personal relationships. Accompanying the cycle of work is social expectation, another minotaur, invisible yet powerful, haunting everyone's mind. Modern society not only values material success and social status, but also imposes strict standards on appearance, lifestyle, and even happiness. The office minotaur must strain to meet those irrational expectations, to have luxury housing in new developments, expensive cars to keep up with peers, the latest smartphones to not be outdated, branded clothing to show class, to travel luxuriously to popular destinations promoted online, to have a perfect, polished appearance on social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, to always pretend to be successful, happy, and busy to be recognized by society. These expectations not only create huge financial pressure, causing many young people to bear unnecessary consumer debts, but also suffocate personal freedom, steal self-confidence and self-esteem when not meeting those virtual standards, sow anxiety and inferiority when comparing themselves with others on social media, and destroy mental health when having to always play a perfect role in front of everyone. In the office maze, the minotaur of social expectation hides in every corner of the office environment and online social spaces, threatening to devour anyone who dares to live differently, dares to slow down, dares to refuse the endless cycle. The consequences of the cycle and endless expectations are physical and mental exhaustion, serious work-life imbalance, and reduced quality of relationships. The office minotaur lives in constant stress, leading to chronic insomnia, irregular eating habits due to lack of time to prepare healthy meals, lack of exercise due to sitting in the office all day, prone to cardiovascular diseases due to prolonged stress, poor digestion due to irregular eating, and aching bones and joints due to sitting in the wrong posture. Spiritually, they are tired, lethargic, easily irritable with family and colleagues, lose concentration at work, and have memory loss due to lack of sleep and stress. Family and friend relationships become distant, superficial, lacking sharing and understanding because there is no time and energy to nurture them. The office minotaur gradually loses connection with themselves, forgets the truly important values in life such as mental health, family happiness, and personal passions, and gets lost in the maze of pressure and expectations. To escape this office maze, we need to liberate ourselves from the endless cycle of work and consumption, break down the irrational expectations of society about success and happiness, rediscover the true balance in life between work and personal life, and nurture true spiritual values, things that truly bring long-term meaning and happiness. The community thread, real connection and true meaning. The urban maze, despite setting traps of loneliness and pressure, is not a dead land with no way out. Between the nameless city and the suffocating office, there are always oases of connection and meaning, faint lights guiding the way out of the maze. To find a way out, we need to proactively build a community thread, weave a network of real connections, and discover the true meaning of life, transcending virtual values and invisible pressures. It's not just about connecting and seeking meaning, but about actively acting, engaging to build sincere relationships, seeking passion and purpose in life, and cherishing simple moments in everyday life. Moreover, to make the community thread stronger, it requires the joint effort of urban planners and policymakers, creating policies and public spaces that encourage interaction and bonding among people. To build a community thread, we need to proactively open our hearts to those around us, starting with the smallest actions like a friendly smile to the building security guard or a sincere greeting to the food vendor down the street. Don't be afraid to open up, share your stories, and listen to others' confidences. Participate in vibrant community activities, from local sports clubs, art classes at community centers, to volunteering at local shelters or simply joining a hobby group about photography or yoga online, to meet people with shared passions and values. Seek confidants to share joys and sorrows, accompany on the journey of life, who may be university friends, close colleagues, or even new friends met in community activities. Spend quality time with family, friends, and truly loved ones, nurturing close and strong relationships through warm family meals, weekend outings, or short trips. Communicate face-to-face instead of just connecting through social networks. Put down your phone and look into each other's eyes when talking. Understand each other's true emotions through eyes, gestures, and build trust based on sincerity and respect. The thread of human connection, woven from sincerity, sharing, and empathy, will be the most powerful weapon to fight against loneliness and anonymity in the city. In addition, urban policies also play an important role in creating quality public spaces, such as developing more green parks, community playgrounds, pedestrian zones, and street cultural and artistic events, creating conditions for people to meet, interact, and build relationships. To find the true meaning of life, we need to discover and pursue what we are truly passionate about instead of just chasing fleeting material values. Instead of just relentlessly pursuing material goals and virtual fame like owning mansions and luxury cars, take time to listen to your heart. Explore the hobbies, talents, and values that you truly cherish. Maybe you are passionate about painting, singing, writing, playing sports, or simply enjoy cooking and gardening. Seek a job, a career, or an activity that not only provides sufficient income, but also brings joy, interest, and true meaning. For example, if you love children, try participating in volunteer teaching activities at local community centers. Pursue passions no matter how small, spend time each day on creative activities, learn new things through online or offline courses, and constantly develop yourself. Seek a purpose in life not only for yourself, but also to contribute to the community, to society, help those around you, and create positive values for the world, such as joining environmental protection organizations, charity groups, or simply helping neighbors in your community. The thread of life's meaning, woven from passion, purpose, and dedication, will be a lighthouse guiding the way, helping us overcome the maze of pressure and expectations and find true fulfillment and happiness. And finally, to cherish life and find joy in the city, we need to learn to slow down amidst the hectic pace of life, enjoy simple moments, and connect with the ordinary beauties around us. Instead of just chasing luxurious and expensive experiences like overseas trips or wild nights out at bars, find joy in the little things every day. A cup of coffee in the morning at a familiar local cafe, an afternoon stroll in the park, a favorite song playing from a small coffee shop, a good book read in a quiet corner of the library, a warm smile from a street vendor. Connect with nature even if it's just a small green balcony, a row of trees shading the sidewalk, or a cool breeze. These simple things will be a medicine to soothe the soul, helping us find peace and joy again in the bustling urban life. To support this, urban planning needs to focus on preserving and developing green spaces, creating oases of nature in the heart of the city, helping people have the opportunity to relax, regenerate energy, and connect with nature. The inner universe, boundless and mysterious. Our inner world is not just a maze, but an infinite universe. Within it lies a myriad of emotional stars, countless ideas, a galaxy of sparkling memories, ethereal nebulae of dreams, and also bottomless black holes, invisible fears. This universe is both mysterious and full of potential, as vast as the ocean, waiting for us to bravely explore. Each person carries within them a unique and distinct universe, with wondrous laws of operation and deep secrets yet to be revealed. Imagine in that vast inner universe, planets of emotions are constantly moving. There is the planet Joy, radiantly bright, bringing happiness, excitement, and love for life. When this planet reigns, the inner universe lights up and life is filled with joyful colors. Confronting the planet Sadness, we sink into gloomy darkness, feeling heavy, lonely, and lost. The planet Anger erupts like a volcano, burning everything with flames of rage, dissatisfaction, and resentment. The planet Fear is as cold as ice, freezing all courage, making us tremble, shrink, and run away. And there are countless other planets of emotions, each planet carrying its own nuance, its own energy, creating a rich and complex symphony of the inner universe. Along with the planets of emotion, the inner universe also contains countless nebulae of thought. There are nebulae of optimism, sparkling with positive thoughts, hope, and belief in oneself in the future. These nebulae illuminate the path, add motivation, and help us overcome difficulties. Conversely, the nebula of pessimism casts a dark, gloomy fog, covering the inner universe with negative, doubtful, and disappointed thoughts. They pull us down into the abyss, making us discouraged, give up, and lose faith in life. Most frightening of all are the nebulae of obsession. They delve deep into the mind, repeating negative thoughts, painful memories, and constant fears, constantly gnawing and tormenting the soul. The inner universe is not only a place containing chaotic planets of emotions and vague nebulae of thought, but also a treasure trove of infinite potential. Deep within that universe lies a source of extraordinary inner strength, the ability to self-heal emotional wounds, spark endless creative inspiration, and awaken the potential for self-development. The inner universe is a great mystery, but also a priceless gift. Only when we dare to embark on the journey of exploring that universe can we truly understand ourselves, accept ourselves, and unlock the hidden power within to live a more complete and meaningful life. The inner universe, though boundless and mysterious, is not at all scary. On the contrary, it is where we return to, where we belong, and where we can truly be ourselves. Minotaur of darkness, fear, and negative inner voice. If the inner universe is a treasure trove of potential, then in its deepest maze there always lurks a minotaur of darkness, the embodiment of invisible fears and negative inner voices. This minotaur does not take the form of a ferocious monster, but hides beneath the guise of negative thoughts and emotions, silently manipulating and imprisoning our minds. They are invisible enemies, but with terrible destructive power, preventing us from exploring the inner universe and unlocking inner strength. The Minotaur of Darkness often appears in the form of fears. Fear of failure when starting a business in a competitive market, fear of romantic rejection in fragile urban relationships, fear of not being good enough to meet office expectations, fear of losing control in the face of unpredictable life changes, fear of loneliness in a noisy crowd, fear of being abandoned as the fast pace of life sweeps everything away. These fears set traps everywhere in the inner maze, binding us in our comfort zone, not daring to take risks, not daring to challenge ourselves, not daring to pursue burning dreams. They make us lose confidence in ourselves, doubt our abilities, and always feel insecure and anxious about every decision and choice. Fear is like invisible ropes tying our feet, preventing us from stepping out into the vast world out there and exploring the endless potential within. Along with fear, the Minotaur of Darkness also carries a negative inner voice, a harsh critic always present in the mind, especially appearing strongly whenever we face difficulties or challenges. This voice constantly judges, belittles self-worth, repeats harsh, critical words, and denies all efforts, even small successes. You're useless. You're not good enough. Others are much better than you. You're going to fail miserably. Don't dream anymore. No one really loves you. You're just lonely. These toxic words are like invisible arrows, piercing straight into the heart, sowing self-doubt, guilt, and extreme inferiority. The negative inner voice makes us constantly compare ourselves with glamorous, successful figures on social media, feeling inferior to our peers, incompetent, and unworthy of anything good. They erode self-confidence and self-esteem, causing us to lose faith in ourselves and the beautiful life out there. The Minotaur of Darkness is not born naturally. They are not an inherent part of the inner universe. They are formed from negative past experiences, unhealed emotional wounds, harsh criticisms from others in the past, invisible pressures, and unreasonable expectations of modern society. Past traumas are like deep scars in the inner universe, creating fertile ground for fear and negative voices to grow and become stronger over time. Social pressures and the expectations of others also contribute significantly to nurturing the increasingly ferocious Minotaur of Darkness, making us always feel compelled to strain ourselves to meet distant, unrealistically perfect standards, gradually losing our freedom and true nature. To unlock inner strength to truly master our own universe, we first need to bravely face the Minotaur of Darkness directly, honestly recognize the fears that are lurking deep within, and listen to the negative voice that is roaring, and from there find appropriate ways to subdue and transform them, turning the Minotaur of Darkness into a powerful ally on the journey of inner exploration. The thread of compassion, mindfulness, and self-love. In the inner maze filled with the terrifying Minotaur of Darkness, fortunately, we are not alone on this journey. There is always an invisible but powerful thread of compassion ready to guide the way, gently support us, helping us step by step explore and heal the deep wounds within the inner universe, unlock the miraculous source of hidden strength, and find inner peace, true happiness amidst the worries and anxieties of urban life. That thread of compassion is the harmonious combination of mindfulness and self-love, two guiding lights, two universal keys opening the door to liberation from the dark maze. Mindfulness, likened to a quiet lamp, gently illuminates every corner of the soul, helping us see the reality of the inner universe objectively, without adding or subtracting, without judgment, without avoidance. Practicing mindfulness is simply taking time to listen to natural, slow breaths, gently observing the flow of emotions and meandering thoughts like clouds drifting lazily across the vast sky. When practicing mindfulness regularly, we no longer try to escape or suppress uncomfortable negative emotions, but learn to accept them as an inevitable, natural part of the inherently diverse and complex inner universe. In a state of mindfulness, we gradually recognize more clearly the Minotaur of Darkness, the true nature of persistent fears and haunting negative voices, without being unconsciously swept away by them, without letting them dominate and control every action and decision in daily life. Mindfulness helps us create a safe space between ourselves and obsessive thoughts, perceiving them objectively as only temporary products of the mind, not our true nature or core value. When the mind is mindful, we become more awake and wise than ever, thereby having enough ability to make right, wise, and kind choices, instead of reacting instinctively, hastily, and negatively as before. To practice mindfulness, you can start with simple exercises such as *** mindfulness of breathing meditation, anapanasati, *** body scan meditation * to enhance awareness of bodily sensations, or use mindfulness meditation support apps like Calm or Headspace for specific and easier guidance. Self-love, like a warm, fresh stream, gently soothes bleeding wounds in the heart, slowly nurturing and healing the inner universe that has suffered many traumas. Truly loving yourself does not mean being selfish, complacent, or excessively indulgent, but first learning to accept yourself unconditionally, completely, including both strengths to promote and weaknesses to improve, proud successes and failures to overcome. Practicing self-love every day is simply saying loving, kind words to yourself, encouraging and motivating yourself when facing difficulties, and forgiving past mistakes. Regularly tell yourself positive affirmations such as, "You really did your best in that situation. You are completely worthy of love, happiness, and peace. I sincerely accept and love you unconditionally, no matter what you are like." These loving, sincere words, when repeated every day, will have the power of a miraculous medicine to heal lingering emotional wounds, gradually strengthening self-confidence and inherent self-esteem, and dispelling the dense darkness of the Minotaur of Darkness lurking in the mind. To practice self-love, you can try * writing a gratitude journal every day, recording the good things that happen during the day and your good qualities. Practice visualization of yourself being surrounded by loving light and compassion, or perform loving kindness meditation exercises to spread love to yourself and those around you. To make the thread of compassion, mindfulness, and self-love truly unleash its miraculous effects, we need to practice persistently, patiently, and regularly every day, turning them into an indispensable part of life. You can start with mindfulness meditation for just 5–10 minutes each day in the early morning or late at night, spending a few short minutes each day to quietly observe your breath and emotions as they unfold. Practice compassion by writing a daily journal, talking to yourself with loving and encouraging words, or performing mindfulness of compassion exercises as guided on reputable apps or websites. If you feel too difficult on the journey of self-healing, do not hesitate to open your heart and seek dedicated support from experienced and empathetic psychologists. Professional psychotherapy can help us directly confront and effectively heal deep emotional wounds in the past, gradually freeing ourselves from the invisible shackles of the terrifying minotaur of darkness. Most importantly, on the journey of inner exploration, always spend precious time connecting deeply with yourself, through soul-nourishing activities such as journaling, leisurely walking in green nature, listening to healing melodies, or simply sitting quietly alone doing nothing at all. These precious moments of silence not only help us listen more clearly to the truthful voice from the depths of our hearts, but also help us better understand our own needs and desires, and gradually reconnect strongly with the inherent source of inner strength, always ready to be unlocked. And remember that taking care of the inner universe is as important as our efforts to adapt to the urban maze out there. When we are at peace and steady inside, we will have enough strength and wisdom to face all the challenges of modern urban life, from loneliness in the nameless city to pressure from the suffocating office. The miraculous thread of compassion, the harmonious combination of mindfulness and self-love, is the wise Ariadne's thread guiding the brave Theseus to explore and heal the vast inner universe. When each of us can master and practice this priceless thread, we can completely confidently overcome the minotaur of darkness hiding in our minds, unlock the extraordinary source of hidden strength, and find peace, happiness, and true meaning from deep within. The vast inner universe, from a dark maze full of thorny challenges, will surely transform into a beautiful garden of the soul, filled with light and love, where we can freely explore, unleash creativity, and leisurely enjoy every meaningful moment of life. Journey of Theseus Overcoming the Labyrinth is not just a story about escaping traps, but also a symbol of each person's courageous journey of growth. From facing the urban labyrinth, laying traps of loneliness and pressure, the office labyrinth with its endless treadmill and heavy expectations, to the inner labyrinth hiding the minotaur of darkness, we have together explored the challenges and pitfalls of modern life. But that journey does not stop at just identifying difficulties, but more importantly, it is about seeking and grasping the thread of hope, the thread of community, the thread of life's meaning, and the thread of compassion and mindfulness. Each of us can become the Theseus of our own lives. Let's not just seek the thread for ourselves, but bravely use that thread to take action, build genuine connections, pursue passions, and spread love to those around us. Let's work together to build a world with less labyrinth and more hope. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. And now I invite you to share your own thread of hope. How have you found your inner strength? Let's create a community of sharing and support so that everyone can find their way out of their own labyrinth.